Ain't No Grave, issue number 1. That's right, folks. This is the latest book from writer Skottie Young and art by Jorge Corona. We've talked about them before. Corona is currently doing Transformers, which we also have been talking about this week, but we talked about their previous work together in a book called The Me You Love in the Dark, which was amazing. I love that book so much. And I've been on the Skottie Young train for a while. I loved all of Strange Academy. I really liked his book Twig. And now he's doing a Western thing, which is kind of cool, but it's in like his classic twisted fashion, which is kind of sick. This book is really interesting. It looks cool. It's well executed. It has a very distinctive vibe for both of these creators, which I love to see. So let's just get into it. Let's talk about this book. It's not a dialogue heavy issue, so it's going to be a lot of like describing the artwork and stuff. I'll show you some pretty pictures throughout the book, of course. Chapter 1 is Denial. We are seeing this lonely, like, Ryder. Her name is Ryder, but, she's like a lone horsewoman or whatever, a cowgirl going around there, an outlaw of some types. She finds, like, a crashed carriage, and she finds like a doll in it, and she picks it up, and there's like a little girl waiting to grab her doll, and it reminds her of her own daughter. So we flash back to see like her daughter pretending to be like a bandit trying to like shoot her mother because her mother is a notorious outlaw. Revolver Ridge Ryder, that's what her name is, and her husband Darius is like, come on, I didn't tell her anything about you, Ryder. She learned it from the kids at school because her mom is a deadly person. They're just having a cute little time. Ryder's just enjoying being in love and being married and being a mother, but she starts to cough. Uh-oh, something's happening to her. She's coughing. Blood is coming out of her. That's not good. Cut back to the present, and she's just like grim and dark and lets the family go so the kid can have her doll back, and she just gets on her way. Because she's headed somewhere, but we don't know where. And she's crossing through deserts and valleys of all different sorts, literally like to the ends of the earth. Like there's big flora everywhere. It's just disturbing and different. She keeps coughing. It's not looking good. And in the past, she is visited by a doctor, and her husband tries to like get her to take some medicine or whatever to fix herself, but she's not going to do it. She's going to go and fix herself the way she knows how. So she's like, this isn't me. I thought I could play this forever. I can't. I'm going to cut my hair again and be the person that you once knew. Do you remember me now? And she's got like her hair cut, but it's like a big weird effect, and her husband Darius is just crying like, yes, I do remember you. And this is terrifying. So in the present, while she's on her journey, she starts hearing music. And it's like the voice of like a ghost or like the Pied Piper, whatever you want to call it. Just a gentleman spirit that's leading the dead souls into a river to be baptized in like eternal death or whatever. And she kind of gets like caught up in it, and she thinks she's going to die. The souls start to drag her down. She's like, I'm not going to die here. This is not where I die. But luckily she survives. She gasps for air. She gets back up and gets back on her mission. It's cool though. Like I'm really digging the book. It is very distinctive from, Corona's other works, which is kind of cool to see. Very Western-y vibe, which you love. So she starts just like traveling all over the place. Big falls everywhere, going from place to place. We see like there's some more Native American looking people that are watching her travel. She goes through like a special tree somewhere that gets her through, but her horse is fighting her now. Her horse isn't letting her go. The horse doesn't want to, continue on this mission. It just wants to go home or whatever. I don't know. Ain't No Grave is a fitting title because everything doesn't want her to die. She doesn't want to die, but also she's leading herself to her own death is my guess of what's going on here. In the past, she kind of like yells at her daughter that she doesn't want to be with her anymore. But she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I just like, mommy's got to go do something so she can be with you longer. But that means going away. And she's like, why don't you just stay here? She's like, I got to do this. Her husband's like, you don't have to do this. The road to Cyprus, there's only one way in. You're not getting back out. So she's headed to Cyprus. What is Cyprus? We'll figure out after. She decides to leave her horse because it's being stubborn, and the horse leaves away, like just leaves. The horse goes away. So she just starts walking through deserts and valleys, up hills, down hills, through everything. She eventually gets to like a special location in like some weird shacked village somewhere. She walks up to like this giant, like cloaked, what would you call this? Like a trader of some, like a trader. I don't know what you'd call this. just like a frontiers looking man who's got like a bunch of just like random apparel and like bones sticking out of his back. Just this big, scary like hunter type that's just covered in everything. You can't even see their face. And he taps his magic staff and opens like a doorway between some rocks somewhere, and she's able to go through. And he's like, what business have you in the city at the end of the world? And she's like, well, I got some bad news recently, and instead of sitting down and dying, I want to do something about it. So she's headed to Cyprus, a scary city somewhere deep in the cloaks of whatever, and she's like, I'm going to kill death itself. And we see like this weird city hidden underneath the rocks and ruins. There's like a weird black sun in there with a red sky. Just, it looks very old-timey, old westy, but still more modern than stuff that we've seen her like walking through. And that is where the book ends. And you're just like, dang, okay, that was kind of interesting. It looked very compelling and very different than a lot of stuff I've been reading lately. So hell yeah, this is great. This is exactly the vibe I like. You have a team, and like their collaborations together just perfectly work for the stories they're telling. It's really cool. I dig this book a lot. Hopefully it can pick up the momentum or maintain it at least, you know? Like we can keep this level of just like intensity and gruesomeness and just this woman who wants to fight death itself because there ain't no grave that's going to hold Ryder, you know? Kind of cool. Kind of cool. So Ain't No Grave, issue number 1, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.